Welcome to New Orleans. Yay!
Well, it has been a hot minute since you have been on the channel. Welcome back.
I have been absent. Things don't always go as planned, right? We did take a beautiful tour in Houston, Texas. We love Texas. The particular job that I had was extremely difficult. So, very long days, a lot of responsibility, beautiful people. But it just didn't leave much time for my family or rest and recuperation or touring.
And that's one of those things that's hard to know when you're negotiating. Yeah, you can try to bring it out in the interviews, but you can only do so much. So when we initially left, I was not working outside the rig, just managing some single family homes. I recently took a job as a recruiter for a wonderful pro-life ministry, but that still has a lot of flexibility built in. You initially were working clinical and then kind of segued into management in LA, right?
Right. A little bit more flexibility, a little bit more money with that. So that allows us to take time off in between contracts to visit certain areas of the country that I might not find a contract in, or I might not want a contract in. So we did experience this while we were in Texas. I asked for a couple weeks off. We were able to go to NOLA, which we thought we were going to for a contract, but it didn't seem to work. It was a permanent thing, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, so she had a job offer in New Orleans. I booked a campsite there for like 3 weeks, and then that job didn't work out. We ended up in Houston, but this flexibility allowed us to kind of get away from Houston, Galveston area to go over to
another hot place. But it was actually beautiful.
It really was.
Because we had been in Houston in an area where there weren't a lot of trees. There was a lot of dry heat. It was beautiful in its own way. But when we rolled into this campsite, it was like we were camping again. Yeah. The kids thought it was great.
The lush pine trees, the hammocks came out. They were swinging from their vines. It was crazy.
And it was actually, well, for what I experienced, anyway, it was beautiful weather.
So we initially booked Fireside Lake Resort in Hammond, Louisiana, because we thought we were going to be working there. But instead, it ended up just taking a little vacation time there. But it wasn't the most awesome vacation. She actually got sick with COVID and was down and out for a couple weeks. So
I was. I wait till I go on vacation in the middle of nowhere after I've been working COVID units for 2 years. Go figure. I don't know. My body just decided that it was time to take a break.
But we picked up, moved the rig, which isn't something we love to do. We're more of a set it and forget it kind of family. We took the Bolivar Ferry in Texas City, this nice scenic coastal drive all the way to New Orleans. And there were campsites in downtown NOLA in the scenic district, but we just felt like this one in Ponchatoula was better for kids. It's more beautiful, a lot more to do, and I'm glad we landed there.
So we always have a couple of token things that we really want to hit when we go to a popular city. These are just the things that everybody, it's the touristy stuff, like St. Louis Cathedral, Cafe du Monde. I can't even say that right, but I know to order the beignets. We hit a couple of these places, Jackson Square. I did not feel like the best parent. We decided to, on Bourbon Street, actually, at nighttime,
There's parades and all kinds of
where
shenanigans.
nobody takes their kids at nighttime.
It wasn't Mardi Gras, disclaimer. It wasn't like, but that's just a party area. They're always celebrating something, There's a parade for something.
And sure enough,
Yeah.
there was a wedding parade
Yeah.
or something like that. I could totally get used to that kind of celebration all the time. But man, do they know how to eat there? They know how to eat. So while we were there, we had to have some awesome Cajun food.
Oh, yeah.
And we just lived it. We tried to live it like a local, but
Just take in the vibe, the downtown music, the street performers, the shops. We grabbed a couple souvenirs. I got myself a New Orleans hat.
There you go.
in addition to all these things that you have on your summer to-do list, which we love, we have one up now, you will get to an area and ask the locals, hey, what's going on? What do I need to do? And sure enough, there was a Renaissance fair, a very legit Renaissance fair. We did not know what to expect, but this was the ticket, the hot ticket.
And our kids have never been to anything like this. So.
Oh, Your Majesty, it is a glorious thing. We have German for you today.
The boys were really into it.
We were all into it, and we're already planning a next Renaissance fair, so it was beautiful. Lots of entertainment, really authentic. I mean, this was not a weekend throw it up kind of fair. This was, they do this all year round.
Yeah, it was awesome with the rides and the booths and the food.
And the food.
And the total cultural immersion. So
wear your stretchy pants if you go to NOLA.
On this trip, we were actually able to check off 2 states off our list, Louisiana and then right next door, Mississippi. We were trying to decide, do we do the Natchez Trace or do we do Ground Zero Katrina and just eat on the riverfront? And that's what we ended up choosing to do, mostly because it was closer and just a little more manageable. And it was cool. Katrina is such a huge part of the history of that whole area. It was shocking to see that. It's on the minds of people. It's a historical marker. It's how they speak. And then the museum was just at like the flood levels, the reality for our kids, just watching them like, whoa, really? That was really cool.
It really speaks to the people of Louisiana, Mississippi, that they just keep on rebuilding and getting stronger and stronger.
They're tough.
They are very tough and very proud to be from Louisiana.
And part of us is like, why would you live there when you have a hurricane? But they're like, why would we ever move? We don't quit.
Where else do you get
Yeah.
that culture?
Yeah.
Really nowhere else. It's such a unique flavor of just history.
It's a vibrant port city that's totally different than Boston Harbor or San Diego or LA. Just completely different. Beautiful day for an outing out of our New Orleans campsite. We decided to come over to Mississippi and check that state off the list.
Check.
We came to the Katrina Ground Zero Museum, which was powerful to see. And then we did a little train depot and we grabbed a restaurant here on the water.
The water.
Of course. Yeah, we're like, can't stay away. Just sitting here eating bar food and watching the boats go by and dreaming.
But it's a good life.
Yeah. It was worth the 1-hour road trip from our campsite.
I've mentioned before that one of my favorite things to do is to take a ghost tour through whatever popular city we're visiting. We did it in Salem and had a great experience, and that really set the tone for every single spooky tour that we've ever taken. And it is a great way to see the sights, look at the buildings, hear folklore, get a little bit of history.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to walk around. You get to meet people.
Building across the street, that is our Supreme Court of Louisiana. The building was built in 1907 and it was built to be a courthouse, and it was a courthouse until the 1960s.
And step into a couple of restaurants, perhaps if your tour guide is game up for that.
Yeah, and before you think we're totally crazy parents, which we are, you can adjust the shock level. Like when we were in Salem, we got a history teacher who, it wasn't as much like legend as it was like history about the witch trials. And NOAA, there's some risque stuff going on some of these tours. Well, we didn't pick those because we have children, so we picked one that was more rated, PG or G.
Right.
And it was good. It was worth the time.
You do have to pick, look for coupons and pick your tour that is appropriate for who's going. If you've got teenagers, you can be a little bit more spooky. We've got a young 5-year-old. We like to keep things pretty chill and more on the history side. And then if you get to go someplace by candlelight, everybody kind of has fun and gets to tell their own stories.
Well, when you're in Louisiana, you got to go on a gator tour. So we snagged some tickets to a place where we can pet some snakes and baby gators and just have a hands-on experience. Yeah, who's gonna hold the gator? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna hold the snake and a gator.
You're gonna do both?
Yeah.
Elijah shall do so.
What about you, Em?
I'll be the camera woman. I'll be behind the camera the whole entire time.
She'll be the photographer. So Dee's down with a little flu bug, but we're out and about having fun in and near New Orleans in a county called Ponchatoula. This is one of those companies that offers the fan boat swamp tours, but you wear headphones. It's just too loud for 5-year-olds, so we'll catch that another day.
My shoulder for me. I stole your banana.
Look at him using his hand.
He's laughing at me.
He's using his hand.
Wacky bird! Wacky bird!
That's great.
That's awesome.
What was everybody's favorite part?
The gator. Wackabird.
Wacky Bird?
Yeah, so funny.
The way he danced. Eli, yours was the gator?
Or the snake, or the bird.
What was better, Keepers of the Wild in Arizona or this?
Oh, Keepers. I say this because you can actually touch the animals.
Yeah, you can hold like everything here, so like even the alligator, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is way better. I say that our alligator part is better.
The alligator part. Keepers of the Wild was better.
Yeah. Why is that?
They had more endangered animals.
No fan boat tour today, but this was cool. Like, I think we'll probably do that at some point, but being able to get in the cages and interact with the animals was pretty neat. Highly recommend. We came to New Orleans for a little vacation getaway, a little break for Dee in particular, and it has been beautiful. They've got a lake, they're building a concession stand, a lazy river, a playground. We were a little concerned coming here after the recent hurricane. We had heard they'd lost their climbing wall and we're worried there wouldn't be much to do for the kids. But we got out on the lake and with our own kayaks and did some kayaking and have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it did. It's not very deep here. I could probably stand.
It has been an awesome respite. Now we are heading back to Galveston to finish up Dee's contract in Houston. This place has good customer service, a nice layout in the pine trees, and they've even got a little swim-up bar next to the pool. But the lazy river's not heated, so it's not really a winter thing. Time to hit the road. Well, that's it for this episode. We got the knockoff 2 states, take a little break for the heat of Texas. Now we're heading back to Galveston for some more adventures on the island, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.